Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. There is a practice that we do on a minig that we do on Yom Kippur, which originally, in the time of the Beis Hamikdash, was done much more often, and perhaps almost every day. And there's some halachic issues that we have to discuss. In Hilchos Nefilas Apayim, which we would call today Tachnun, the regular Tachnun of the day, the Alter Rebbe in Siman Kuf Lamed Aleph discusses how Nefilas Apayim was done back then and how we do it now, and perhaps the only way it's done still, the way it was done originally, the only time it's done still the same way as it was done originally is on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And we'll discuss some halachic issues about that. The Alter Rebbe in Siman Kuf Lamed Aleph, Sif Aleph says like this: Ikar Nefilas Apayim. The main way, the correct way originally of how to do Nefilas Apayim, translate the words literally, means falling on your face. Shenagu ba b'yomim harishonim, which was done in the earlier times. Hilipol al panov arza. You flat out lay on your face, fall on your face. Afilu shaloi b'pishut yodayim v'raglayim. Now there are two ways how that could be done. Either to bow down and put your face on the floor, or pishut yodayim v'raglayim would be to prostrate yourself completely, flat on the ground. So that's how it was done originally. That is what Nefilas Apayim means. However, today we have issues. Why? Says the Alter Rebbe, Kol Adam Lisa Aser Lipol Al Panav Arza. Today's days, nobody is allowed to fall on their face on the ground if it's al gab ritzbas alvanim. If it's on top of a stone floor, afilu shaloi bepishut yodayim v'raglayim. Even if you're not laying flat on the ground, spreading out your hands and feet, if it's a stone floor, you're not allowed to. Why? Because gezerah mishum mishtachavo bepishut yodayim v'raglayim. Originally, the prohibition in HaTorah is, as the Alter Rebbe quotes, that bepishut yodayim v'raglayim is asura min HaTorah. V'loikin olav. Shenemar ve'even maskiz leititnu ba'artzechem l'shtach v'salel. The Torah says you're not allowed to place a stone that you will bow down and fall on that stone. You're not allowed to have a stone like that. And you're definitely not allowed to bow down on a stone anywhere. So, but that is bepishut yodayim v'raglayim, when you lay out flat. But shaloi bepishut yodayim v'raglayim is also prohibited as a gzeira, as a buffer zone, as a protection, because we don't want you to transgress what the Torah prohibits. Ve'einei mutar ela b'mikdash bolvad. This is only something which is allowed to be done in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash was avanim, and the Beis Hamikdash is where you saw people, or as you read in the Machzor of the Seder Avodah, there was kaidim or mishtachavim, and over there it's allowed to be done. Ve'im einei madbik panav bikarka. If you don't put your face on the ground, your face doesn't touch the ground, and elamata al tzidoi, he's doing it sideways, mutter, then it's permitted. Va'afilu, says the Alter Rebbe, afilu al gabe ritzvah savanim, shaloi bepisha yodayim v'raglayim, you're allowed to if you're doing it sideways. So let's summarize this for a second. And before we get to the halacha of how we do it on Yom Kippur. So the Torah prohibits with two conditions. A stone floor. The Torah prohibition is a stone floor, and B, pishut yodayim v'raglayim. If it's missing one of those, it's not min HaTorah, but the Rabbanon still have an issue with it. Now, this Isser is something which is prohibited not only for men, even women are not allowed to do this, because the Torah says it as a lav. So let's talk about typical Nefilas Apayim on a regular day. So Baruch Hashem, it was set up. We don't anyways do pishut yodayim v'raglayim. We don't anyways even do kriya. We only fall on our face in our hand, which eliminates any sort of problem. Practically, the poskim of today speak about, how about if somebody has a stone floor, but he has to give a child a bath, and that's the way it's most comfortable to give the bath to the child. So the poskim of today say it's only a problem when it's intended, when you have intention for bowing in certain form. But if you're just doing it for other reasons, and the two examples that they bring is for giving a child a bath, or bending over and cleaning out a refrigerator, etc., al pi halacha, there's no problem. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to refrain from doing it, but al pi halacha, this isser doesn't apply. That is the custom, that is the isser min ha-Torah, and how it changes into another level, isser min ha-Rabbanan. Now, in Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch Hilchos Yom Kippur, the Alter Rebbe says that during the year we do nefilas apayim in your hand, but over here in Siman Taf Reish Chaf Aleph, the Alter Rebbe says in Sif Yud Beis, V'noyagin lipal al penayim k'sha'omrim v'hakoyinim v'ha'am. And you know the different parts of the machzer where we do kriya and v'hishtachava. Some even go as far as saying Pishut Yadayim V'Raglayim, which is the way as it was done in the Beis HaMikdash. So, therefore, you find that as long as it's a stone floor, we're running into issues, halachic issues. Now, people know that you shouldn't do it directly on the stone floor. So typically, you hear that in different shuls, they hand out napkins or paper or anything that should be under. Now, when you say under, it's very important to note that under the feet doesn't accomplish anything. All that does is make sure your pants don't get dirty. The separation has to be from the head and the floor. The separation strictly has to be between the head and the floor. And now, all those other places that the floors are not made from stone, so the Lubavitch Minig, for example, it says in Sefer Minhagim, is that we're not makbid by a wooden floor, possibly to be concerned, maybe there's stone under it or anything. Once it's not an original stone floor, we don't have any chshashes of making a separation. Lahalacha, they say that tiles is like a stone floor. Marble has the same din as a stone floor. Bricks, however, they say doesn't have the same halacha as a stone floor. Yashikoyach, and please join us again next week.